Hello, I have the 2022 Willettized Lagunitas Coffee Stout in rye oak barrels. And this one is 13.1% this year. A lot of people say this is like the best deal for a big barrel aged stout. It is, a fraction, a third or a fourth or a fifth the price of Bourbon County Stout, and many others. I was able to just get a single of this for like $3.50 or something. And it's widely distributed. The one thing is I don't think it's quite as thick and sweet as a lot of the big barrel aged stouts these days, especially like Bourbon County Stout. But then this sticks around for a long time in a lot of places. And I have a friend who really likes it. So I thought that I would buy one, even though I'm not crazy about the stouts. So yeah, coffee and rye. Well, no rye in the beer, but rye whiskey barrels. So those are two kind of more bitter, roasty, dark sort of experiences, spicy experiences that not everyone even really wants in a big stout these days. People want them to be sweet. And I don't remember what this was like last time I had it. I remember it not being a Bourbon County type thing, but you can generate a pretty nice head there. Doesn't sound like it's too carbonated though. That smells pretty good. Definitely get the rye whiskey spiciness. And the coffee's not explosive. The rye whiskey's definitely bigger. What I like is there's a little bit of a caramel kind of toffee thing happening in there. It's not just char and spice and booze. They don't really give you much info on this, but it seems like this is 100% barrel aged beer. But a lot of, I think Bourbon County Stout, sometimes that's not even necessarily 100% barrel aged, but it doesn't always have to be. Maybe it's better if you throw in some fresher, sweeter beer. But I've definitely had some beers that were just oak aged, where they just throw oak chips in there, or that are barrel aged, but it's not much barrel percentage in the blend, and they just kind of don't get to that level of like a real barrel aged beer. Although this is pretty cold, it's still very aromatic. Not too scary with the booziness. It's got some sweetness and some body. Not ultra thick, but it lingers with some nice fruity coffee notes. Definitely a lot of chocolate mocha sort of thing, but it's pretty sweet. Warms up the throat quite a bit, but that rye whiskey kind of moves things in a different flavor direction, because rye whiskey always seems like it's the most spicy, in-your-face, hot whiskey. It's the one that has like sort of the least coconut vanilla notes. But let's see if we can find them in there. Yeah, I'm getting a little bit of the vanillin. I recently heard someone pronounce vanillin, sort of like the vanilla flavor you get from oak, as vanillin. I don't know which one's right, but it's definitely in there. But it seems like it's a good quality coffee. I like the coffee quality. They don't tell you what kind of coffee at all. And not bad. It's a good sipper. Not a massive body. Not syrupy. And probably not one that you would want to age too much, because coffee can, degrade. And a lot of people say it just turns into like a green pepper flavor, which a little bit of that might be interesting, but you don't want it to get vegetal and just kind of make things weird. This still is mostly in the sweet, boozy, chocolate candy territory, which is where you want this kind of beer to be. And I'm not getting any like molasses or soy saucy notes or umami weird stuff messing with it. There is some kind of fruitiness, like bright fruitiness from the coffee. Maybe some like berry notes. I don't know if I'm getting cherry, but more like, I don't know, like cherry pipe tobacco, fruity pipe tobacco. That's a good beer. It's definitely worth the price. Like $3.50 for this, and this is like the strength of more than the strength of like, yeah, more than the strength of 3 Bud Lights, and this is $3.50. It's kind of, yeah, it is insane because the ABV makes it like, if you're just going for ABV bang for your buck, this is the way to go, and it's also an almost world-class beer. Let's see how it is with some chocolate. This is not a very fancy chocolate, but maybe something that's so deep and spicy like this, and it has some roast to it, would be better with some like mild milk chocolate. And maybe doing that is also more of a bad idea, because then it just makes this seem less sweet and chocolatey. I would actually recommend, maybe if this isn't sweet enough for you, before you pour it, put a little teeny bit of maple syrup in the bottom of your glass and pour really hard. That might be pretty good. Yeah, I'm starting to get some heat notes, but that didn't really go well with that chocolate. Maybe go better with some dark chocolate, because now it's seeming more like roasty black coffee, spicy rye, Irish coffee sort of thing. Deserves at least a 4, I would say.